Howdy guys, welcome back to Diesel Creek. If this is your first time joining us, my name's Matt. This is my 1957 Autocar DC75. And those are birds chirping that have made a home in my rafters. Hopefully you guys can stand to listen to that because I don't have a way to get rid of them. So what's the deal with the Autocar? Well, I bought this truck, well, going on 3 years ago now, from a guy over in Easton, Maryland. And the reason I decided to buy it was because my grandfather used to drive the exact same make and model truck. So I never got to meet my grandfather, but I always grew up seeing pictures of this truck, and I think that these old trucks need to be saved. Plenty of people save classic cars, but not that many people save classic trucks. So these are the trucks that built this country, and I also like to collect all the equipment that built this country, so I guess it's going to be a fitting combination here one of these days. And I haven't gotten much chance to work on it, and you guys have all called me out on it over and over again. I keep finding other pieces of equipment that need my attention and take precedent over this. So you guys have been begging me for it. Here it is. Let's get some work done on this thing. Now, the last time it showed up in a video was I did a cold start compilation back in the winter time, and I went to start this thing, and the last few times I'd started it previous to that, it had cranked up fine, run fine, pretty impressive for the age and condition that it's in. In the winter time when I went to start it, the engine would not turn over, and I got scared and thought it was locked up. And what I ended up determining is that the transmission must have a substantial amount of water in it and froze, because I could not get the transmission to turn at all. When I pushed the clutch in, I could get the engine to turn, so I know that's not locked up. It's warm now. All the ice should be melted out of the transmission since it's, June. Let's get underneath here, drain all the fluids out of this pig, and get everything topped back off, and hopefully we can fire it up today, take it for a ride. So if you're not that familiar with large truck and trailer combinations like this is where the magic happens. This is the business end of the truck. This is the fifth wheel hitch that you connect your trailers to. I've had a lot of people telling me in recent videos, oh, you got to get a lowboy trailer now to haul around all this big equipment you've got. I already got one. There is a video, there is one or two videos it shows up in. I think if you look down in the description, I have a link to the playlist for every video of the Autocar. But anyway, I have a 1964, I believe it is, Army lowboy trailer for this thing. And it's period correct is the only reason I picked it up. It's not exactly the kind I'd like to have for it, but it's what I got for the moment. It is a decent trailer. It just needs a deck, and it's pretty much ready to roll. But I've never actually connected it because I'm worried if I do, I won't be able to get it loose again, because this fifth wheel plate is pretty well seized up and everything. So it still pivots this way, but the mechanism pretty well locked up. So we're gonna get some Croil out and soak this thing down, and hopefully we can get the mechanisms freed up and working again here. So, some of you know that I have a partnership with Croil here, and I've partnered with them because they make the holy grail of penetrating oils. If you've ever worked in heavy industry, you know that this is pretty much the go-to stuff if you got a real serious problem to attend to. I've been using it for years. I've always had good luck with it. So that's why I chose to go with them when the opportunity arose. Anywho, in all the years I used it, I never had anything but the original Croil, and never knew there was anything else. But actually, now that I talk to these guys because we're partners, I've found out that there's actually a lot of other products that they offer. So this is Silicroil, which is the regular old penetrant with silicone, so that it keeps things freed up after you break them loose, which is a nice little added benefit. Oh. There we go. We got movement. Looks like our latch is a bit messed up here. There we go. There we go. Almost. Alright, it looks like we got this thing working now. And for those of you that aren't familiar with big trucks like this, I'll explain the way this works. So the bottom of the hitch on the trailer has a big pin sticking down called a kingpin. And what you do is you guide that pin into this groove here, this channel, and it funnels it down in here, and it'll shove its way past these two things and kick this release rate here. And when it does, these things come sliding across and trap the pin in here, and then you're hooked up. Not a place you really want to stick your fingers, but when you back into the trailer, this happens. So another cool thing about these old trucks that you don't see too much of anymore is that this truck actually has two transmissions. That is a primary gearbox right there that has 1 through 5, and then right here directly above us, this is considered a secondary transmission or an auxiliary gearbox. This has 3 speeds in it, so you can use a combination of the 3 and the 5 to pretty much have the perfect gear all the time. And you can also get a lot more power and a lot more speed out of a smaller engine with so many extra gears and combinations of gears. But our primary transmission is the one that was frozen up over the winter time, so let's go ahead and drain that sucker right now. See that box right there too off the side of the transmission? That is a PTO, and this is the first time I've even seen it. I didn't know that it had one, so that's pretty cool. I believe that this truck used to have a big winch on the back of it, and I'm hoping to put another one on it one of these days. So there's the PTO, and that would have run a shaft back to here to this bracket, and then I think it had a 90-degree gearbox on it or something, and a chain that ran up to a big Tulsa winch. You guys ready to see how much water's in this thing? Some of you guys might remember my road grader had the same problem with the transmission freezing up because it had a ton of water in it. Let's see if this guy has more or less than the grader did. Ready? Here it comes. Oh, that's a lot of water. Holy crap. Good Lord, how is it getting in there? Well, we're finally transitioning over into a little bit of oil. Oh man. I hope the transmission's alright. Oh, that ain't good. That was a lot of water. Another little poop nugget of water. Oh man. Yeah, you know, you get busy with life and you kind of neglect things like this. And I really, really wish I would have drained this the moment that I got it home. That explains why it didn't want to turn in the winter time there. So you can kind of jam your pinky up in here and drag out chunks of what I imagine are rust, or I hope are just rust. I mean, I don't know what to say about it at this point. It's not good. There's a ton of sludge in there, so I think there's a cover on the other side of the tranny here. If you were going to put the PTO on that side, so there's a cover right there. I think we're going to end up popping that cover off of there and try to flush out the bottom of this tranny real good, because, I mean, it's just bad in there. Alright, well, the primary transmission's still up there puking. I just got it, gonna let it drip for quite a while. We're going to go ahead and drain the auxiliary now, and hopefully it does not look nearly as bad as the primary did. Oh. right, let's play what's behind door number 2 and hope it's nothing like door number 1. Oh, but there he is. Holy crap! Well, it wasn't as bad as the first one. Ugh. Well, this one's got a really nice access panel. We can flush this one really easy. And I feel good about that at least. You ready? What's behind door number 3? You know, just some sludge. Let's see here. The gears don't look bad from what I can see of them. Oh, I can't move them. Well, that looks easy enough. We can just get a putty knife and try to scrape most of that out, and then we'll get some diesel fuel and just flush it. I think this gear case is going to be just fine. There wasn't that much water in this one. It's the primary I'm really worried about right now. Chocolate. Alright, so we got the gear cases drained. Now we're gonna crack open the engine oil pan here and see what kind of, hopefully no surprises await us. Oh, maybe we're gonna. That's iron and aluminum. That doesn't seem good. Dang it. Also, I don't care what anybody says. There are times a crescent wrench works better for stuff like this because you can adjust it to be perfectly the size that you need, rather than a wrench sometimes on these rusty bolts will have a little bit of slop to it. Luckily we were able to just break that free. Iron and aluminum sometimes that has that way of making themselves one. You ready? What's behind door number 3 here? Are we on door number 4? I don't remember. World's longest oil drain plug. Oh, there we go. That's beautiful. Actually, that oil looks pretty good. Huh. No surprises there. I'm glad to see that. That hopefully indicates that we have a good, healthy engine. I didn't see anything chunky come out of there. Nothing discolored. It's all nice and evenly colored. As you can see, well illustrated on my nice painted black hand here. Yeah, let me go get a rag, wipe this off, and yeah. Now up top here, this is our fuel filter, and over here is our oil filter. There's a bolt coming from the top here, but I kind of figured that was just a bleed screw. Maybe it doubles its life as a retainer screw. Yep, look at that. I was right. I'm glad I did not drive a punch through that thing. This is a cartridge type filter. There we go. I'm sure we probably could find a replacement that's a twist on. But yeah, let's see what this fuel filter looks like, huh? Oh, not too bad, really. It's a Napa 3106. I might actually have one of those on the shelf, believe it or not. Alright, the next filter back here, this real big one, should be our oil filter. It is also a cartridge type filter. So it looks like we got 4 bolts we need to undo, and then this whole cover will come down. and probably make a mess. Alright, now usually on these cartridge type filters, there's always a drain on the filter housing somewhere, and this one's no exception. A little hard to see, but it's right there. And usually those things are a big help in saving the mess, but I think actually in this case it's going to make things worse, because this is going to run right down onto that ledge right there and make a big oily mess. So yeah, kind of disappointed. That's a pretty stupid design. Let's go ahead and crack that thing off there, and hopefully we can just bring it right out and not make too much of a mess. There it comes. Now that's an oil filter. Alright, we're back here on the rear end now. This should be the last thing we have to drain. Hopefully there's no water in this one. We're 2 for 4 on water. You guys bet. Water, no water. What do you think? Here it comes. Oh, that's lovely. Is there nothing in there, or is it plugged up? Oh, it's like, it's just straight grease. There we go, there it is. Ugh. That's the consistency of a Hershey bar that's been sitting in your car in the hot sun. Ugh. Well, at least there was something in there. That does make me feel a bit better. Not sure how well you can tell, but there is a slight discoloration ring in the pan there. I don't think it had much, if any, water in it. Maybe just a little bit of moisture from sweating. So that's good. That's definitely not 80-90 weight. That's got to be more like 85-140. So I think that's what we're going to end up putting back in all the gear cases. The people I talked to online said that's what they use, and you know, it works out better. So it's the same price as 80-90 weight. That's what we'll put in there. Now that all the gear cases are drained, I'd like to try to flush them some way, because as you can see with the rear end, there's enough sludge in the bottom of these gear cases to keep the oil from coming out. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to empty the tray there and then but put a couple gallons of diesel fuel in that tray. And then I've got this little drill pump I rigged up here. It's supposed to be good for fuel oils, so we'll see how that does, pumping the diesel. And I'm just gonna leave the one end of the pan, and the other end of the hose I can stick in here and try to flush it out, and then I'll just keep recirculating that diesel fuel, so I'm not going through 100 gallons of diesel to do a good flush job here. Oh yeah, this looks like it's working good. Well, I've been pumping for quite a while now. I probably circulated this same batch of fuel through there about 10 times now, but you can see it is working finally. Anyway, it's working pretty good now. You can see we got quite a bit of sludge dripping out of the drain plug there. So I'm just going to keep on flushing for a while yet, and hopefully at some point the sludge quits dripping. Alright, now we're onto this auxiliary gear case here. Hopefully we can wash some of that sludge out in there. You see how thick and nasty that is. So I scraped as much out as I could with the putty knife. We're going to go ahead and blast some diesel fuel at it. Oh, you guys think that looks better? Oh, I sure do. That cleaned up really nice. We're gonna go ahead and move up to the primary transmission now and do the same thing. All right, I'm about to pop this cover off the primary transmission here. This is the one that had all the water in it. So let's see how bad things really look in there. I'm a little nervous. Well, from what I can see at this angle, not too bad. I don't see any heavy rusting or pitting or anything. It's all just nasty looking. I guess we won't know any real story until we go ahead and start power flushing this thing. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but there was just big goops of sludge coming out of that drain port on the other side there. Bad news bears, folks. See those guys right there? Those just came out of the drain pan in the transmission. And those are a bunch of needle bearings. So there is something bad wrong in that transmission. So we just opened up a big can of worms. So the best I can tell, it looks like there's an access panel underneath this, what's left of the floor mat in the truck here. We'll go ahead and clean this cab out and start ripping and tearing. Maybe we can get the top of the transmission off and have a little look down in there and see what we can see. So for the restoration process, I know a lot of you guys keep saying, oh, leave the patina, but I'm telling you, if you were here in person, it's not a good patina. It's not a good look. It is pretty darn rough. It's pretty rotten in a lot of spots. Yeah, I mean, look at that. So I'm still looking for another cab, and if you know where there's one sitting somewhere or for sale that would replace this one exactly, go ahead and shoot me an email at dieselcreek@gmail.com. So unless I find a replacement cab, this one's coming off anyways, because to do this body work, it'd be a lot easier to take it up to my neighbor's body shop on a dolly, and we could just work on everything right there. I got the floor pan cleaned off, what's left of it anyway, cleaned off, and then went to work trying to get the bolts out. And I've got all but, I think, 2 out, and they were pretty darn rusted away. I don't know if you can tell how pitted and gone that thing is. They're quite rusted. Look at the threads on that guy. It's all pitted and gone. They probably haven't been out of there in a couple generations. So, the one up there, the head is just completely gone from. I'm going to go ahead and grind it off the grind it off the grinder, because there's no, you can't even get a socket on it. There's nothing there. That should have freed up this panel. What's left of it. Oh man. She is crusty. Ugh. Tell you what, you can tell this thing's old. There are grease fittings on everything. There we go. Well, one good thing about this adventure, we know that the floor in this cab is very easy to fabricate. It's all straight pieces of tin, which is really nice for our purposes. I still have yet to figure out how that water all got into this transmission in the first place. I don't see anything that's evident. There's no reason it would have run down in here. The top of this boot is good. The bottom looks a little rough, but I don't think there's even any holes in it. So I don't know how the water's getting into this transmission, but that's a problem. Ugh. Oh man, it is not good, guys. Not good at all. Look at that mess there. Ugh. I'm really ashamed of myself for not checking this out before I ever tried to do anything with this truck. That is just sad. I'm imagining we're going to see some pretty bad carnage in here. Really not looking good. Well guys, unfortunately I think we're going to have to wrap this one up here. My stomach's grumbling, and I'm going to go home and eat me some meatloaf. Not much more I can do here today. I'm going to come back tomorrow and start working on getting the cab all disconnected and everything, because we're going to yank the cab clean off of there like I was talking about. We'll get that thing set onto a trailer, take it home so we can work on it at the neighbor's body shop. And then that'll give us a lot better access to the transmission. We can get that yanked too. So hopefully all that's doable maybe in a day. I don't know about getting the tranny yanked, but hopefully getting the cab off at least tomorrow. And next time you guys see it, we'll cover all that. Anyways, if you guys want to see more content on the Autocar, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.